appreciate all that you've done in education. However, Congress, in reality, education is a very small portion of the responsibilities that go with Congress. So I'd like to hear you talk more about the issues that really fall in the lap of Congress, such as whether it be gun control, tax reform, and things like that. Because education is a small portion of federal government.
Let me push back on that a little bit. Well, first of all, that's a question of like 15 different things. But
Right.
so education is actually a very significant portion. And if we don't have anybody in Congress that can advocate on behalf of education, then we're not in a great place, because education is the very foundation of our economy. As a school board trustee, I had a lot of issues with title funding. So title funding would be the funding that goes to your special needs children, which affects every population at every income level of every ethnicity. Bilingual funding, our free and reduced lunch programs, our after-school programs, things that we've been able to use in our school district in order to help lower income children. Our pre-K programs, a lot of them derive so much funding from our federal funds. And when we don't have anybody watching that carefully, we don't have somebody who's looking at the long-term economic prospects of our country. So that's one aspect of it. I don't think people understand how important that is, but we do need to work on our gun laws. I grew up in El Paso, Texas, and I was personally affected by the recent tragedy that, one of my best friend's moms, the woman who used to change my brother's diapers when we were kids, she was in that Walmart. And she helped to get a couple of folks out, and she's physically okay, but she doesn't sleep alone at night. My friend moved back into her parents' home so that she could be there whenever she woke up in terror. And a lot of people in El Paso are dealing with that. But even before we had this terrorist drive from Allen, Texas, all the way to El Paso to specifically hunt people that looked a lot like me, we had a lot of issues with domestic violence, with post-traumatic stress disorder. I lost my best friend in high school to gun violence. I lost her to domestic violence. She called the police because he called her first and said he was going to kill her. And the police said, let's just wait and see what happens. I know, it sounds ridiculous on its head, but that's how seriously domestic violence is taken in this country. A lot hasn't changed in the last 20 years. And we know that domestic violence tends to be the precursor to the kinds of violence where somebody goes into a mall or into a church or into a synagogue. So we need to make sure that those weapons of war aren't made available to folks. We definitely need to make sure that they're not made available to folks if they're in a terrible mental state. We need those red flag laws. We need universal background checks. We have so much consensus on those two things as a country, and we have so much inaction. And again, it goes back to campaign finance. We need to get the gun lobbies out of our politicians' heads, and we need representation taking care of their people.